Hey, this is Mitch with DrywallInstruction.com. Let's do a quick segment on coating corner bead with a hock and trowel. I've got a hock and I've got a 12-inch trowel here. Regardless of what corner bead you use, whether it be tape-on or nail-on or bullnose or square, it needs to be on nice and tight and square and even. And so what that means is if you press your corner bead on tight and you make sure that it's not bent or twisted at all, then you'll be able to have a good product. If you've twisted it and you've just pounded 100 nails in it to cover it up, your crookedness and that type of a thing, you won't get a good product when you coat your corner bead. So if it's crooked, take it off and redo it. It's worth the time. It'll save a lot of grief and a lot of hassle. So when you have a piece of corner bead on, the idea is that it creates a strong corner and then it provides a swell or valley here for you to fill up with your mud. And so our goal, once we have this coated, is to end up with a nice smooth flat surface to be able to texture, and you'll have your corner, but you won't even notice that swell. It'll be feathered into the corner and it'll look really good. So I'm going to be using a trowel today to do this, and I'm using topping mud. And the reason I'm using topping mud as opposed to all-purpose is that all-purpose is very hard to sand, and so whenever I coat anything, I use topping. It's a lot softer to sand and it shrinks a lot less. So we'll put our tape on or whatever with the all-purpose, and we'll put it away until we texture. From the tape on or whatever, if we're coating, we don't even use all-purpose mud. We'll just go ahead and start right out with our topping mud, and because it will hold its body better, it won't shrink as much, and it'll be much softer to sand. So this topping that I'm using is straight out of the box, and the majority of the time you can use it straight out of the box for coating, and it's an advantage as opposed to adding water to it because of that shrinkage factor. The less water it has, the less that it has in it, the less it will shrink. And so it's preferable to go ahead and use the topping out of the box. At some points of the year when they ship it, maybe in the winter, it's a little bit dry, and you might need to, because of the fact that they don't want it to freeze, you might need to add a little bit of water to it in that case. So let's go ahead and show you how this is done with a hock and trowel. With a hock and trowel, you put your mud on your hock, and you go ahead and load up your hock, or trowel, I'm sorry, and then you go ahead and first off, you want to go ahead and fill that corner bead with mud. If you'll notice, when I'm filling this, I'm pulling my hock out to the right instead of dragging it either straight or pulling it to me. The reason I do that is because that enables me to keep the mud off of that outside corner. As we go ahead and coat this, we'll go ahead and fill that edge up. So now once we have it full, we'll take our trowel, and if you'll notice the way I'm holding my trowel, I'll go ahead and press on that right-hand side, and I'll take that right down to nothing on the corner first, and then I'll go ahead and go to the left-hand side and press on this outside left corner, and I'll press really hard, and I will wipe that edge down. You notice now that when I took that edge down, I have no ridge right here whatsoever to sand, or very, 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 very little. And so that's the purpose of that. After that, we'll go ahead and we'll take a few swipes right down the middle of the corner bead itself. And we can lightly, if you notice, I'm wiping lightly here. I'm not pressing hard on this, because if I press too hard, then I will pull all my mud back out that I just put on. Got a little bit of junk there. I'll go ahead and pull that out and make another quick pass. Thought I had my junk out, didn't. There you go. And you can come up from the bottom as well. So what you end up with once you do this is you end up with a product that is reasonably smooth. And you may say, well, Mitch, you've got imperfections here still, and you need to work on that some more. That's really kind of the mistake that most people that don't have experience coating make. They're trying to get it too smooth. This topping is very easy to sand, and so when I dry this now and I sand this, I'll be 99% there. I'll be needing probably or maybe to fill in maybe a few little imperfections. And if my mud is really wet, it may shrink down here in this area a little bit and require me to come back and put a skim coat over that just to make sure that that void is totally full. But I'm thinking the mud out of the box that I've got right here, once I dry this and I take my sandpaper to it, I'll be 99% ready for texture. I hope this is helpful to you, and you'll continue to follow us at our website, drywallinstruction.com.